request everyone standing around here to please be seated as we begin this immenseful session. So first of all, a very warm welcome to each one of you. Here we are at the day 6, the final chapter of this incredible journey which began this Monday. So without any further delay, first of all, before we go any further, a huge round of applause for each and every one of you sitting here today. I need every one of you to please make loud noise. Alright everyone, fasten your seatbelts because we are about to witness something truly extraordinary. The one I am about to invite to the stage isn't just a professor, he is a visionary and a trailblazer in the artificial intelligence, big data and high performance computing. With 18 years of experience, a slew of prestigious awards and a reputation that spans across the globe. He is not just shaping the minds in the classrooms, but he is shaping the very future of AI as well. And today, we are very incredible to hear from him. So, without any further delay, let's bring the energy, let's bring the excitement. I want to hear you all clap loud, proud and non-stop. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together as I welcome the Director of Symbiosis Institute of Technology, Dr. Rajnikant Alvalu sir, to the stage to take us on the incredible, unforgettable journey today.
So guys, very good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. So the next 3 hours, okay. I'll be talking about basically AI, and then I will talk about the geospatial analysis using AI. And in fact, I was given 4 articles which were published by some eminent researchers to talk about. I will discuss those articles, and to make this particular session something meaningful, and I just heard most of you are from CSE, Cse-Aiml, etc. So I will talk about how do we, implement, or how do we get these topics into practice. And these days, mostly people are talking about Gen AI, right? Generative AI, yes or no? Yes. You all know about ChatGPT, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right. Okay. By the way, I am a trainer of Gen AI as well. Okay. I do train a lot of people on generative AI every day, and I take some sample case studies, the real-time applications, and I will show how the geospatial analysis can be done. Okay. Before actually I begin, as I have to talk about articles, I will in brief talk about what is research about. And even before that, before I connect to my presentation, first let's go with the terms. Analysis, right? Can I get from you people what's the basic difference between analysis and analytics? Anyone? Can I hear from someone? What's the difference between analysis and analytics? Both are same? Can use interchangeably? What's the basic difference? Guys, what's the basic difference? Analysis and analytics. We do data analysis, we perform data analytics. What's the difference? Okay.
Analytics is using the data and statistics and modeling.
Okay. See guys, in simple to say, we have some data available, we have some data that is available, and we try to know what exactly happened. So that's talking about past. Talking about past is all about analysis. Analytics is something which talks about future by using the past. Getting? Say you are a people, right? You are maybe in 6th sem, 7th sem or 8th sem, whatever may be. if I could say that, a prediction kind of thing, then it comes into analytics. Analytics mostly talks about future, analysis mostly talks about the past. And in fact, today we are going to talk about geospatial data, but as a students, what is that industry is looking about is not just AI, it is AI plus data. Please understand guys, next decade, the future is all about artificial intelligence and data. How do we, use artificial intelligence for your data engineering is what actually the future is all about. Let's get into my presentation. As I said, I'll be talking about the research publications. Okay, and how do we select a journal, a conference, etc. So generally, when it is something new, when we did something novel, so we need to get the ownership of what we did, and we need to add the literature to the domain where we are expert in. At that moment, we always do go for publications. And when we talk about publications, the moment when you open internet, you get a lot of conferences, you get a lot of journals. How do we select them? How do we select a journal? How do we select a conference? It's not the one, the one which is happening nearby, we pick and we go. It's not that. So, we had put a lot of efforts in coming up with the work, the novel work, maybe as a part of your project, maybe as a part of your research. That particular work you need to publish where the readership is very high. Getting what I'm saying? The readership is very high. A lot of people read it. A lot of people learn from it. We do not want to go, our article, go into the dark where no one is reading it. No one is at least opening it. So we always need to select a journal or a conference where we actually, where there is higher readers. Means more people read that, right? So, beginning with. So that, I felt that there will be more teachers as well. Okay, so I could have that you're all more students. These days, when we talk about educational institutions like Vjit as well, so you people studying here, you are required to get placed, and then the accolades of your institution is going to make the industry reach out for recruitment. Because the accolades of your institute will tell that how quality you are all about, how quality this organization is all about. For that, what are the accolades that the institutes look for? They look for accreditation, they look for NIRF ranking, etc. As well, the institutions also look at, right, OBE, that is what we call it as outcome-based education, etc. So now, there was a change in the education that's being offered by the institutions, their strategies. Earlier, a decade back, it was teaching and research is a latter. Getting what I'm saying? Teaching comes first. Research is something optional. But now, there is a change. The change says, research first, teaching next. Getting what I mean to say? What is first? Research first, and the next one is about teaching. Why research first? Because, say, when I talk about teaching, so there is a book, there is a website to learn. I read from the book, I teach from the book. Then, the 21st century students are so comfortable of self-learning where they can learn themselves from that particular book. See, traveling every day 30-40 kilometers, coming down to an institution and just listening what is there in the book from someone is not going to make a student excited. So that's where now what makes excited is when a faculty who does research when he does research, the faculty will be beyond Google. Getting what I'm saying? What makes interesting for a child? When the faculty talks beyond Google, something not available in Google that a faculty has to teach, then the students feels interest in the topic. Otherwise, no. The student feels, yeah, I can read, I can understand. Okay, so what is there in the Google if you teach? No. So that's why, if the learning has to make more excited, the research is important. Research is something novel, which is not already existing. And when a faculty does some research, he goes beyond the textbook and he goes to the application level, and that particular faculty will talk engineering or the topic he is talking about at the application perspective, and that really going to make a student quite interesting. So that's why research first. An individual who does a serious passion research will take the session beyond Google, and that is really going to excite the people. And that's where, research followed by his teaching is what actually the paradigm shift. That's what we talk about. And actually, there is a new education policy that has already come in the country, right, by 2020. Of course, there is always a dilemma. I always talk, India is country of countries because of the autonomy of the states. Certain states are not accepting, but as per the new, the NEP as well, right, research plays a key role. The research has become a part of the higher education. Okay, so moving forward, why we should publish, as already I said. I said a teacher beyond Google, teacher doing research, teacher talking about a topic, teacher asking to do something in practice. Definitely the students will do something novel. And when the students do something novel, say some innovation they have come up with some solution to the community, then the question comes is, yes, we have come up with that particular innovation. It is with us, it is with our department, it is with our institute, but this particular innovation has to receive a lot of traction. Means the world has to get benefited out of whatever the intellectual work that we have done. So for that, we actually need to go for publish. The moment we publish, that particular article, that particular journal goes everywhere, and people read it and get benefited. Today I am going to talk about the articles. They are actually published by individuals in other countries, not actually in India. There is an article which talks about Bangladesh. Okay, there is an article which talks about some other country. They did the research there. They have come up with some interesting patterns that we are sitting in Hyderabad, we are going to discuss. That's where, so when we do something intellectual, so we need to go for publishing. Yes? What happens here? To add knowledge to the literature. Say, you're all the people of AI. You're all learning AI from the textbooks. You're all learning AI from the websites. But a question comes, are you adding anything to the existing literature? Getting? What makes us superficial? When we add some literature to the AI, that's what, you have to make your own mark. Okay, you have to put your own trend there. So you did something in AI, put it there. The rest, the other people are going to learn from that particular, literature that which you have added. So that's where we need to publish. Of course, there is something saying that we would like to have your name in print. That's one. And when we go for publish, we should not always publish the one which is already existing as well. We should not go for that. We need to publish something which adds value, which actually adds value to the existing literature. Okay, so that's where, of course, we have to publish when we do something novel. But the question comes, where do we publish? So for publishing, there are conference proceedings, book chapters, journals, right? But the issue is huge number in the market, huge number. That's a number, very old one, 36,000 plus journals. But not even 36,000. Of course, there might be 50,000 plus journals available. So how do you choose a journal? How do you choose whether you would like to go for a conference or would like to go for a journal for publishing your work? So here, what do we look at is, when we look at a journal or when we look at a conference to publish, we always need to look at its impact factor. What we need to look at is, we need to look at its impact. How much impact the journal or the conference has. I will tell you that how do we calculate that particular impact factor as well. We need to check whether it is peer reviewed. Okay, so we, whatever the work we do, we always believe that it's our novel work. We believe that we are doing something great, but some expert has to peer review that and has to say, yes, there is some literature that is added. There is something novelty in this particular work, which is really going to add literature to this particular area. Then that particular work will get accepted. So we need to check whether that particular journal is peer reviewed or not. So as I said, appropriate readership. It should have more and more readers as well. We also need to look at the length and time of the submission, how much time it takes from submission to the acceptance. And lastly, the impact factor, which already I spoke about. Now, what is this impact factor? Very important. People always look at this. People talk about this impact factor. What it says, how frequently the papers published in a journal are cited in the scientific literature. Cited means someone read your article, someone taking your article as a citation for their novel work is what all we call it as the impact factor. How do we calculate it? Further, there is a formula. It says that average number of times an article published in the journal in the previous 2 years with respect to the citations of in the current year. How many citations that particular article got? How many citations that particular journal has got? So this is something which talks about how do we calculate an impact factor. So being a student, you do not require this. Okay. So how do we look at this research metrics actually? Everyone talking about research, right? How do we look at this research metrics? See, there will be article level metrics, there will be author level metrics, there will be journal level metrics. Three important parameters always we need to look for. The very first one, article level metrics. So, you published an article, say for example, some conference, some journal. Now, what is article level metrics? How many times that particular article got cited in an year or from the date of publishing is what are called as article level metrics. So your article cited by 50 different articles, 100 different articles, 200 different articles, 300 different articles. That shows the impact of your article. Getting what I'm saying? Article impact factor. The next one is about author level metrics. Say as an author, how many articles you publish. Say for example, you have published 10 articles. You have published say 20 articles. Then your H index comes. H index in the sense, what is the average number of times your published articles got cited is what an H index. See, these days a standard one. When do we call an individual as a researcher? People always look at having at least 10 plus H index says that yes, this guy is doing some kind of research. Getting H index. How do we get 20 articles, say assume, and there are citations say 200. So we do 200 by 20 and then we get the H index of that particular author. Okay, so if an author is doing more and more novel work, more impact publications, definitely their H index will be very high. So that's where the H index of an author. The next one is about the journal level metrics. Here the entity of author, here the entity is a journal. So journal accepts articles from various authors, and now journal will have an issue. Issue will have 10 to 15 different articles. Now how many times this 10-15 articles got cited is what actually comes in the journal level metrics. So we always submit articles to journals and we feel that why these journals are not accepting our articles. The journals select, they handpick an article to publish because the journals accept an article which gets a readership, which gets a citation, because the article citations helps the journal improve its impact factor. So that's where the moment when we talk about research, when we talk about publishing an article, these are the three important parameters that we need to look for. As an article need to create its impact with its citations. As an author, when I am publishing articles, as I need to be showcase myself as a researcher, my H index matters. So I need to publish an articles which are novel, which get cited in a good place where there is readership, then my H index improves. As well, the journals to invite, to attract the best articles from the good authors, they also need to maintain their H index. They also need to, accept the good articles so that their impact improves. So that's why these are the three important parameters. So article level, author level, the third one is about the journal level, guys. So this is something the journal, how the journal's impact factors are calculated. So these days there are different confusions among people. Someone says, looks whether the journal is indexed by Scopus, whether it is ESCI, SCI, etc. indexes. But in spite of looking at them, in the recent years, the one which started adding or taking notion is quartile rating of a journal. So whether the journal falls into Q1, whether the journal falls into Q2 or the Q3 or the Q4. These are called as a quartile rating. A one which falls into the Q1 is called as a quality journal, the best journal. The one which into Q2, of course, it's down to Q1, then Q3 and Q4. I always say never publish in Q4 journals, because in the next quartile, a journal which falls in Q4 may move out of the quartile or may come into Q3. So the Q4 journals are a bit risky. So when you are choosing a journal, we always need to choose at least the journal is in Q3, because in the worst case it might get into Q4 or might get into the Q2 by the time you publish your article, because submission to publication sometimes take an year and so. So that's why please look at quartiles. Where do you find these quartiles? There are various sites, of course. You can find in Scopus as well. There is a site with name Simago. So in the Simago as well, you can always look at the quartile ratings. Look at the quartile ratings while selecting a journal to publish. I always recommend going for Q2, Q1 journals which has highest impact, which has highest readership, and your article is going to get more and more citations, and because of which, as an author, your H index is also going to get improved. So this is all about the impact factors. So now there are indexing services. In fact, in short, these indexing services we'll talk about. They talk about the quality of the journal. So we have SEI, SEIE, Scopus, DBLP. Guys, actually for computer science there is a indexing service, a specialized indexing service, that is a DBLP. We do not much focus on that. Computer science people always need to choose a journal which is indexed by DBLP. This is a specialized indexing services for computer science. And say the preference of indexing changes from country to country. In India, mostly people say whether it is Scopus index. But if I talk about China or European countries, they do not bother about Scopus, but they bother about EI Compendex index. So the index that the people look for even changes from geolocation to geolocation as well. Okay, so this is based on the kind of readership. So these are indexings. So of course Q1, Q2 will have most of these indexing services by default. So now there is another one that comes in, publishing, open access, closed access. In India still, the universities are so orthodox. Someone who publishes in an open access journal says, oh, it's a paid journal, so I do not accept it. Okay, people say open access means it's paid. So if you have paid for your research publication, people say, no, I do not accept your publication. But in research, over the time, the way we publish has changed because the impact of your research has gained a lot of importance. See now, what is closed research? You publish an article in a journal and the journal will not be freely available for reading. It requires to purchase, it requires to subscribe. Either your library should provide the journal copy or you need to purchase, then you are able to read it. But now we did some novel work and we would like to have more readership, more citations, more impact of your research, then definitely we need to go for open research. Means our work should be openly available for the people to read. We call it as the open access research. And when it comes to the open access research, of course we need to pay certain amount and we call it as APC, Article Processing Charge. But when we talk about closed access and open access, there are categories of journals here. The one we call it as gold open access. The one is called as hybrid open access. Next is closed access. And how do this change? A gold open access is an article which will be available from day one. Which will be available from day one for reading. Whereas hybrid open access is the one which is available for reading for the libraries and the subscribed people. For others it is closed. There is closed access which says that once you publish for a certain time, 2 years, 3 years or 4 years, your research will not be available for free to read. After 3 to 4 years it will be available to read. But what happens here? See, I am talking about doing some novel work. Definitely it adds traction only for the next few years because research goes on implementing. After 3 to 4 years, definitely what happens? The work that we did in 2024 may attract readers only for the next few years. After 28, if my research is open, it will not create any impact, right? So that's where they keep your articles open and our article fails to create impact on the research. That's the challenge with the closed access research. So that's why I was talking about why research, why publish, and what is impact, how do we choose a journal and a conference. And then while choosing, we get whether it is open access, whether it is closed access, whether it is hybrid access, and how are they different, how these are going to influence the impact of your work. So this is what, so that's why, how do we choose? We need to look for a journal having more visibility. Obviously, the gold open access will have more visibility. First to recruit the editorial staff, of course, the open access people, what they need to do is they will have more editorial staff who go by line, word by word of your article, who improves the quality of your article. Okay, language polishing they do, social impact, open access creates, reusability definitely because of open access we get it, and it creates you the better impact factor. Okay, so finding a journal. So these days various sites are available. Every publisher have their own site, and the moment when you put your article title or abstract, it will list you few of the journals where your article falls into the scope. So such services are already available with Elsewhere, with IEEE, or even with Springer, etc. Right? So but what people generally do is, someone says, yesterday I published in one journal and my article got published in 4 months. Then his friend or colleague, what he will do is, he will submit it to the journal without least bothered about its impact, least bothered whether your article falls into the scope. They just submit like that. This is the place where most of the researchers are doing mistake. There are various methods. Sometimes when you are confused of submitting an article to a journal, you can always write to the editor. You can always write an email to the editor that I am doing so and so work and about to submit, and I am finding that your journal has a potential place to publish. Do you find interest in my article, whether I can submit or not? You can write, and definitely the editor will respond to you saying that whether you can go for or not. And in fact, after submitting, waiting for an year to get reviewed, instead your article gets a preliminary review by the editor, and you can do those changes and can submit, so that your journal, your article gets fast processing by that particular journal. Okay, so this is how finding a journal through the services by the publisher, as well as reaching out to the editor whether your article has some interest for them to publish. Then, so now the question comes here, the other dimension of publishing. I have an article I am submitting. Once I submit, what happens? My article is now in the control of the editor. What an editor looks for? Get it? What the journal editor looks for accepting your article. What he looks for? Now the editor's responsibility. Now I am an author, I would like to publish, and my article has to get more citations, my H-index has to improve. The same way, the editor who owns the journal, his responsibility is, he has to accept an article which adds more readability, which attracts more citations, such that the journal impact factor improves, right? That will be definitely the responsibility of an editor. So he's going to look for that. He looks for whether the article has a good science, it's well planned, has a very good executed study, it has a very good presentation of the topic, as well as it has some significance, it has originality, whether the article is within the scope of the journal. Something we are talking about AI and publishing something about social science. No readability at all, right? Yes or no? So we need to check whether it falls into the scope and demonstrated the broader interest for the readership. Will it get cited? Is it a well-written story? And author has enthusiasm in that particular research or not? Such factors they look for accepting it for review, not accepting to publish. For accepting for the review. Then, these are the various parameters which an article should consist of. Most of the people, when an article comes for, they'll read the title, abstract and conclusion. They never go into the body of an article. And by looking at an abstract itself, we can say that whether the article is well written, there is something of interesting in the article or not, and many people do not know how to write an abstract. Even, as engineering students, you submit an abstract for your project, right? Most of the times you submit an abstract for your presentation. So how we need to write an abstract? An abstract should follow a principle. There is a scientific principle called as hourglass principle. When we write an abstract, anything as an abstract should always follow one principle which we call it as hourglass principle. What is this hourglass principle, or how do we write an abstract? Can anyone? I'll correct it. Can anyone? You might have submitted some abstracts, right? As a part of your academics? Yes or no? So how you wrote your abstract? How do you write an abstract? Anyone?
Starting, we will give a somewhat introduction about it.
You write an introduction?
Yeah, just for 2 lines.
For 2 lines?
We will go for somewhat literature review, what all works have done.
Okay.
What we are going to do, and if we got any results, we will be writing the results that we have obtained this kind of results, and we will conclude the abstract in 1-2 lines.
Okay. Just guys remember, any abstract has to start with a need. One statement talking about need of doing that. The first statement should be a small story. One statement. Story means not a paragraph. Story is nothing but telling the need. Why? Why geospatial now? Then, the moment when I tell the need of learning geospatial, you find it interesting, right? If I just go like that telling, first the question comes even at the end of the session, why I need to learn geospatial? If that question is there within you, definitely you are not going to, hear from me. So that's what. Always any abstract has to start with a one-line story which we call it as a need. After telling the need, the next statement should talk about something which is already existing. That's an introduction. There is a need, there is something to serve the need, is your second statement of your abstract. After telling your second statement, there is something to support. The third statement should talk about the drawbacks of that system. Getting? There is a need, there is a solution, there is something drawback in the solution. Then you need to talk about that you have a solution which is going to overcome with those drawbacks. That's what your proposal. Getting? When you write a project, when you write an article, that's where your statement has to come. Then you have to say that I have a solution and my solution has these advantages, which are the shortcomings of existing model. There is a need and I am doing that. That's what your abstract. And suppose if you already done your work, you submit an abstract while submitting for the project, you submit the same abstract at the end in your project report. Mostly when I go for evaluating project reports, the same abstract which they have submitted at the time of identifying the project, they put the same abstract at the end in their project report. It's a mistake, blunder mistake. Because initially you submitted an abstract mentioning that I want to do this, but at the end of the project you already did it. There should be a change in your abstract. What is the change? You mentioned that this is my solution, these are the advantages. Then the last statement should talk about what are your results. You should talk about your methodology in one line, your results in one line. That is what your total abstract should talk about. Abstract is one simple paragraph which is less than 300 words, which talks about the next 300 pages what you are going to talk about in your project. So if abstract is well written, people feels interest to go with that particular 300 pages, right? It's nothing but your trailer, right? You know movie trailers, right? So excited when a movie trailer comes, right? So your abstract also should create that excitement, and it has to be written win an approach. That's an approach is nothing but called as hourglass principle. And next what happens is, see, when we are doing something, we never start something naive. There are some people already working on that, and in that you are trying to do something new. So means there is something work already going on. So your literature survey has to talk about the kind of the work that is happening in the space where you are doing. For that, you are not supposed to take something happened in 1960s and 1970s. In the recent years, what is that exactly happening? In the last 5 years, in the last 10 years, what is exactly happening in the area where now you are working on, your literature survey should talk about, and then comes you to your methodologies, your discussions, etc. And when it comes to the methodology, most of the articles talks about, I used the technology, I did it. But what an article always looks for is a justification, mathematical justification of the model. Please understand, I'm also a computer science guy. Computer science itself is not a domain. Getting? Computer science is not a domain at all. I say computer science is an application for other domains. Okay? We develop applications for automobile, pharma, mechanical or anything, etc., manufacturing sector or telecommunication, etc. Without them, computer science has no existence at all. Getting? So there should be some kind of mathematical justification which we are trying to get it automated by using some computer language and the technology. So that's where a mathematical justification for sure should be there in that particular article. So that definitely, so an abstract plays an important role. We write an abstract, introduction, literature survey plays a key role, saying that through literature survey, once again we need to say there are drawbacks which we spoke in our abstract. Then we talk about our model, our methodology, mathematical justification, how we implemented it. Then we talk about the results. We show that our results are better than existing results, and that's what we conclude an article. So this is what the way we need to write a research article, and in fact, this is the way you write your project report as well. Yes or no? Your project report also, it consists of the similar format in place. So now, you're all AIML people, right? AI makes our work easier. Yes or no? AI makes our work easier. Of course, here when I talk about AI, I tell there is a misconception, right? People say that when AI comes, people say that AI is going to replace man. But please understand, over the years, whatever the revolution, engineering revolution or the machine revolution we are doing, as human beings, we are using them. And in future, we are going to use AI. We are going to use AI. Okay, so if you feel that if you are going to do the work which AI does, of course, you are not specialized. When you are going to be specialized, you are going to be specialized when you use AI. When you use AI. Okay, so there are a lot of tools that are available which support research. There are many, but I have listed very few over here. There is a tool with name Draw.io. In an article, we have to draw figures, tables, etc. Right? For drawing figures, there is a tool that is available, Draw.io. With the Draw.io, we can easily draw the diagrams, and which can be added to your article. There is connectedpapers.com. I was talking about literature survey, right? So in the literature survey, what we need to do, suppose something you are trying to write on geospatial using AI. You would like to know the research that happened in the geospatial AI. You just use connectedpapers.com, mention geospatial using AI, that particular site will list the various articles published in the geospatial AI sector. Easily you can get, that's what the connecting papers does. And there is LaTeX. Most of the quality journals always expect your journal article to be, submitted in the LaTeX format, and for LaTeX always people find it difficult because it has lot of tags in it. There is this tool with an overleaf. Overleaf makes our work very easy. Okay, I do not know whether you are preparing your project reports in LaTeX. Most of the colleges, even the UG project reports are submitted in LaTeX itself. You can always use Overleaf, which is of course the free of cost. Next, there is Grammarly, which always helps you in polishing the English language. There is a biggest challenge as well when we are publishing. This might be, look tougher for you being a student. It's all based on the editor. If the journal editor is from European country, they look for an European English. If they are from US, they look for an US English. While you are submitting an article to a journal, we need to look from which continent, which space the editor belongs to. That also plays a role in accepting your article. So, of course, English is not our mother tongue language. Definitely, the language that we use requires a polishing, and we have a tool with name Grammarly, and Grammarly always helps us in polishing the language of our article, and it improves the readability of our article. There is one more tool with name Cse-Aiml. Say for example, you have written an article and you have to submit it to a Springer journal, and the next moment you would like to submit it to a IEEE journal. The next minute, suppose for example, you have to submit it to a different journal. So formatting is very complex. Sometimes you have to end up, spending 3 to 4 days of time for doing formatting. But there is a tool available which is Cse-Aiml. You submit in your article to the Cse-Aiml, select the journal where you would like to publish. Just in minutes of time, your article comes in that format. Of course, it's paid. Okay, it's paid. Cse-Aiml. Put your article just like that. Select the journal, like if it is Springer, if it is Science Direct, elsewhere, IEEE, whatever, or EAI. So automatically your article comes into that particular format, which is Cse-Aiml. With Cse-Aiml, even we do not require the complexity of using overleaf, etc. Then we have Mendeley. So every article at the end will have references, and references are of various formats. Someone says APA format, someone says Harvard format, right? Various kinds of formats, Chicago format, etc., etc. So now Mendeley will provide us the reference management in an article, right? So the format you want, the order of the particular references, everything we get by using Mendeley. Then coming to the data sets. While we are working on an article and are working on a project, people always suffer for data sets. We want data sets, and journals always talk about the copyright of the data sets. Journals always talk about whether you have licensing for those data sets, etc. So, for getting data sets, people get, suffered. Where do I get data sets? These are very popular portals where you get almost every data set. One is IEEE Data Port is a very popular site where you get the data sets. Mostly students take from Kaggle. The moment they do work, project work, they open Kaggle, and from the Kaggle there are data sets, but understand most of the Kaggle data sets have copyright issues. We have to take copyrights when we are using Kaggle. IEEE Data Port has huge and huge data sets available. But of course, while doing a project, we always need to select a data set of our region. Yes or no? You are doing some project, sitting in Hyderabad, and which data set you have to use? You can't choose a data set of California, Texas, yes or no? You have to use some data set of Hyderabad or maybe Madhya Pradesh or Maharashtra or something, yes or no? So we want an Indian data sets. Where do we get? There is a site with name data.gov.in. All the ministries of India will keep their real-time data in that particular site, data.gov.in. Okay, so when you are doing a project, an AI project talking about healthcare, try to choose a data set from data.gov.in so that we give a solution for India. Yes or no? Please understand, this is another biggest challenge that we are facing. You know, every day I look in news. Hyderabad has all the top IT companies. Hyderabad is one of the leading, IT place. Bangalore, of course, lot of IT employees. In fact, you are also going to join IT. But you know the tragedy of Indian IT. We are not doing IT for ourselves. Okay, every day, of course, this college is in the outskirts. You suffer for traveling, traffic jams. Yes or no? Lot of challenges. We do solutions for them. We never use those solutions. They are used by the rest of the world. That's the tragedy of Indian IT. So the same here, I mean to say, when you are developing solutions, please do not use the data sets of some US, UK or other countries. Try to use Indian data sets, give a solution for India. That's where it works. Because the biggest challenge that AI industry is facing today is to come up with an AI solution, we have to first make that, we have to develop a model, learning model. And the learning model, we are always using data sets of a different country. Say for example, I want to develop an AI application for marketing of Hyderabad. Say, improving the car sales in Hyderabad. I have to train a model. And for that, if I use a data set of US and an AI model is developed and I use that model in Hyderabad, does it work fine? No. Their parameters are different. Their strategies are different. Indian market is different. Indian parameters are different. So we always need to use the local data sets. Guys, as a UG students, always keep this in mind. Try to select the local data sets. So these are the tools. Very few I am listing. Hundreds of tools are available in the market. You can choose. So before you submit an article, okay, so we need to always go for an internal review. Even your project work, before actually you take it to the final, please make an internal review. So whom you feel is an expert, show them once. Nothing wrong. Nothing is secret. Show them once. Take it and for internal review, improvise it, because when it is going for publishing, it has to create an impact. The article quality has to get improved, right? So this is what we need to do. As I said, there will be always, if you have already submitted to any journal, you will know this, covering letter to an editor. People take it for optional. People just write a covering letter like that and will not take it as so important. But guys, covering letter plays a vital role. So what is your intention behind doing that research? What is your intention behind submitting this particular article to the journal? You need to keep a very nice covering letter that reaches the editor, that touches the editor. That's where the editor takes your article seriously, right? So we have to take all the consents from the authors, the ownerships, etc. Then the research. A collaboration plays a vital role. Research can't be isolated. Guys, the world is now of 700 crores people, maybe 800 crores as well. World is with how many universities, right? Thousands of universities across the globe. Today here we are talking about something geospatial research. The same geospatial research around the globe, around the countries, people talk about doing research. While you are doing research, if you are not collaborated and you do an isolated research, for sure your research is going to be a repetitive work. Because the moment when I am talking about geospatial research, the very first word I have to do is I need to look for who are all the people who are working on geospatial research across the globe. Need to look into them. Need to understand what is that they are doing. If my work falls into their work, I need to connect with them. I need to collaborate with them. I need to understand. Together can come up with a novel solution. Instead of doing something which already he is doing and I am doing the same, is never going to add to the community. So that's why the collaborative research is going to make a vital role, and that's where research is going to be geo-separated. Not always people sitting at one place does the research, right? So you may have your research guy somewhere in a different country. So the remote teams, LinkedIn helps you in easily connecting. So funding support as well. So the biggest challenge in India is research support. Funding support is very minimum. Of course, we always need to search for a funder. When your university is funding, that's fine. If not, you need to identify a university who is ready to fund your work, and which may not be in India, maybe anywhere. Still you need to get collaborated with them. There is the low income countries. This is something many people do not know while publishing. I was talking about we need to publish in open access journals, and where we require to pay APCs, but the journals make the APC nil for the low income country groups. So if you have your research collaborator from a low income country group, then your APC becomes nil. So a research collaboration is very much important. So you can't stay isolated and you can't publish a quality research at all. Okay? So research infra support. You're all talking about AI and ML. AI ML requires GPUs, right? What we require is GPUs. I do not know whether you have GPUs, but your research definitely requires a high-end computers. In that case, again, you need to collaborate. People are always ready to extend support to come up with a quality outcome with the like-minded people. So access to the Git repositories as well. People these days, whatever the research they are doing, they're trying to put in the Git repositories, whereas others can reuse. So that's why the collaboration plays a very vital role. Okay, so the journal publishing process. Quite interesting things here. You know, one day, one individual, one guy came to me. He said, I submitted to a journal, I'm looking at the status, and within 15 days, the journal is showing the decision making in progress. Means, article is submitted, within 15-20 days, the decision is about to come. I bluntly said that your article is got rejected. Then that guy says, no, my article is a quality article, and how do you say that? And you are jealous about my work, was he saying. So, actually, in a month, never the review completes and never a result comes, because the article is getting desk rejected. Article is getting desk rejected. What's the process? The moment you submit, first there will be an editorial check before submitting it for review. The editorial office checks for the plagiarism, checks whether the article falls in the scope, checks whether the article has the formatting styles, etc. Then, when they files, the editorial check is cleared, it enters into the review process. Otherwise, it gets rejected there itself. Then, once editorial check is cleared, it goes for referring. If the review straight away say rejected, it gets rejected. If they say with the modifications, article can be accepted, then it comes back to the author asking for improvement. Author improves the article. Once the author improves the particular article and submits back, article plus a rebuttal letter. We call it as a rebuttal. Means we give an explanation for the comments given by the reviewer. Then again it will be sent to the reviewers. The reviewers feels that all the suggestions are addressed, gets accepted. Otherwise they raise one more round of comments. It again moves for one more revision. And if the author fails to, make the changes, gets rejected. Otherwise, goes for publication. So it's a lengthier process. It's not a one-step process. But while publishing, remember one point. Once a literature gets published, it will be there forever. And we always worry or hurry about publishing, but we always need to be very careful about publishing. The simple mistake that we do will go on years and years, iterations and iterations of reading as well. Say I wrote an article, in my article one of the equation is wrong. The next subsequent article will also have the wrong equation, who cited my article, who used my article, and that goes on, and as a fault, it goes on happening in the research community. So, than publisher, than an editor, as an author, we should be very much careful while publishing that the content is right, content is accurate. That's a kind of responsibility that we need to have, because the community has to go with the right literature, right? So, attracting the readers, as already I spoke about, how do we attract the readers of your articles? Okay, so article should be again brief. Someone comes and says, my article is 60 pages. See, people have no time. People want to learn in very quick. People want to learn very quick. Get it? Say, sometimes even my teaching community people also talk. They say, I used to sit in library for 10 hours. You are not at all sitting in the library for 10 hours. Those guys used to sit in the library for 10 hours because they have to open 10 textbooks to understand. But whatever there in the 10 textbooks, you are able to get in a single website, right? So, than reading, they used to spend more time in finding the right material. That finding the right material, you people are going to get in a fraction of time because of the internet. So, the time that we are going to spend in reading has actually come down. But of course, it doesn't mean that in 30 minutes that we are reading less and in 10 hours they read more. It's not the case. We are actually going to read what actually we look for, right? So, the another problem. So here I have an example. Why articles are getting delayed? Someone says, sir, it's 1.5 years, my article is in processing only. It's never coming up. So I have a simple, slide for you. What this slide shows is actually I'm an editor for few journals. My work every Saturday, almost 2 hours, I sit and I submit articles for reviews. The problem is, all the researchers want to publish, they never want to review the articles. After 15 days, see how many has come back. Reviewer uninvited. The reviewer whom I selected to review the article has not reviewed it. Now all has come back, like that 80-90 mails. Now again, I have to sit and I need to identify the new set of errors. As a research community, when we are very much serious about publishing, we also need to be very much serious about reviewing articles as well. But there is a selfish benefit that you people get because of reviewing. The selfish benefit is we can understand what is that others are doing in the area of research. Getting? If you do not do review, you will not understand. Say you are working in geospatial area. Some guy is also working in geospatial area, published and I submitted an article. By reviewing, you will understand, because it's the area where you are already working. What is the other guy doing? Yes or no? Freely, at a free of cost, you are able to get an article to read, which is going to get published, which is something coming up, right? So that's where reviews has to be done. Look at here. For an article, this is another journal. How many I invited? 17 reviewers. How many require 2 reviewers? No one is ready to review. That's the biggest challenge. Why most of the articles are actually getting delayed of publication. Okay? So, the bigger challenge is shortage of reviewers for the journals. The journals are suffering for the shortage of reviewers. So, no one is ready to review. That's where actually your article publication is actually getting delayed. Okay? So, some people say, sir, I am not getting any reviews. See, there is a site, Elsewhere Reviewer Hub. How many of you know this? In the Elsewhere Reviewer Hub, get yourself registered and select the journals of your choice where you can review. Because of doing this, there is also a benefit. Some people say that, sir, I have no Scopus access for looking at my articles, looking at other journals. By reviewing articles for the journals which are listed in Elsewhere Hub, you will be getting Scopus access for 30 days, free of cost. You will be getting the complete Scopus access by reviewing one article. Say in a year, if you review 12 articles, you will get the Scopus access for whole year, and which, by which you can look at all your analytics, your institutional analytics, your analytics, and everything that you people actually can look for. So that's where the Elsewhere Reviewer Hub is there, like that. Every publisher has their own Reviewer Hub. You can get registered to the journals of your area and start reviewing your article. Please start contributing to the reviewer community. Okay? So, now, so far I am talking about doing research. But there is now another interesting parameter. See now, the university started looking at while recruiting the faculty as well. We can't say, I did my PhD somewhere in 2015 or 2018 or 2020. And if I keep on saying I'm publishing an article, that's not sufficient. Now people started asking the question, what is your impact on others' research? If I keep on saying only I am doing research, and I am an 10 years old researcher, I am a 20 years experienced researcher, that's not fine. That's not sufficient. People started asking, what is your impact on others' research? Okay, so what is your other, how do we create that? One is serving conferences. I mean to say, serve the research community. Serving conferences as program committee. You do organize conferences, serve as session chairs, organize special sessions in conferences, very easy of doing all this. You organize tutorials, workshops in conferences. You serve as a reviewers for journals. You serve as a guest editor for journals. You serve as an editor for special issues. You can also serve as an editor for editorial books as well. Various opportunities you have which you can utilize to serve the research community. So that's what, creating impact on others' research, not just doing our own research. How do we create impact on others' research is very vital in this particular area, right? So, taking advantage of edited books. So far I'm talking about APCs, paying, etc. How do we take? Even we get revenues back. Not only creating impact, we can get even revenues back. There will be royalty that you people will be getting because of whatever the kind of work that you are doing. Certain examples that I have given that actually are going to create impact for you as well. So editing special issues. How do we do this actually? When I'm talking about editing special issues, so journals will be very much careful. People say that, sir, I submitted a proposal but never getting accepted. While accepting your proposal, they always check your H index, your impact as a researcher. Yeah, 5 minutes. Your impact as a researcher, they look for. Okay, so then, that's why your profile matters a lot. So, that's why be very careful while submitting a proposal, and a special issue proposal should be very narrow. It should not be broader. It should talk about one topic to the depth. Okay? And editors should represent from multiple countries, not from a single country. Okay? Guys, and this is my bookshelf. These are few of the books that I edited, and I have a very good readership of these particular books as well. Always, trying to get going for the latest. Currently, I am working on a book which is generative AI for metaverse as well, which is going to come from elsewhere. So these are the one which I published from the Springer, CRC, etc. So these are few of my books. Also, I edited few special issues as well, which are already available for reading. Okay. So these are few of the journals for the people to publish, and these journals are of open access, and you are not required to pay at all. Getting what I am saying? There are some universities who are ready to fund. How many of you heard about the very first journal, High Confidence Computing? This is a journal, right, which has an APC of $1,500, but you are not required to pay. And this journal has a very quick processing turnaround. Within 4 months you get your article. This is a Q1 journal. So like that, these are few lists of the journals which hand-picked journals which accept are very fast at publishing, right? So this all end of my session 1, and thank you for patiently listening. I'd like to take 1 or 2 quick questions, please.
Sir, what is difference between book series and journal?
Yeah, journal is something which is there, accepting articles for a longer time. A book is the one which is specialized on a particular topic, ends by the book itself. Okay, say for example, I am talking about serverless computing. I can have a journal on serverless computing, coming to a book. In serverless computing, there is a topic FAS. We call it function as a service. For the function as a service, a book will come. So which an editor can take up, can give some chapters. The book is just like the book that we take for our courses. So which starts and closes with some 10-12 chapters. It will not have further. Okay, but a journal, there will be years of volumes and issues comes for that particular journal. Okay. Any more? Yes, please.
As a student of AI and ML,
Yeah.
can you advise us in the field of research papers and journals?
I'll talk about my next session. I will brief about articles. I will talk more about generative AI. I will show some real-time models. I will show how generative AI solutions comes from that. I actually have to use my laptop. I'll show that. Okay, I'll show more about that. Right. How many of you published at least a conference article so far? 1? No? Yes? See, these days, guys, remember, search your name on Google. Search your name on Google and see what Google talks about you. Getting? You heard about branding, right? Yes or no? Branding? Yes? Your institution does a lot of branding. Yes or no? What is the branding you are doing for yourself? What is the kind of branding you are doing for yourself? Then how do community recognizes you? There are lakhs of AI engineers, right? Yes or no? What is your brand? Please guys, branding is not for organizations only. Branding is for yourself also. Start branding yourself. Right? Start branding yourself. How do you brand? This is a question, think of. It's a huge science. It's a huge and huge science. As I said, I just said a question. Right? What I said? Published an article. Yes or no? You have a curriculum? Yeah. As a student, you have a curriculum? How many of you have your own curriculum? How many of you have your own curriculum? No? All of you want to become the same? Your college decided a curriculum and want to make everyone as one. And you all want to go in that same group. How you want to be yourself unique? For that you have to create your own curriculum. Say, I want to become a Gen AI developer. My college is offering a curriculum. To become a Gen AI developer, I require certain things. My college has certain curriculum. What is that missing? That missing I need to learn on my own. That's the curriculum that I need to have. That's where I shape up my career. And you are 21st century people. 21st century looks for personalized learning. What is required? Personalized learning. What is personalized learning? You actually want to learn what you want. Rest looks garbage for you. Because you are not interested in that. That's what personalized learning all about. For the personalized learning, you need to have your own personal curriculum. Okay? So there is many. Let's restrict to our topic. Thank you. Let's end the session over here. And I do not know how much break time. 10 minutes. Let's get back in 10 minutes, please. Thank you.
Alright guys, this was really, the first half was really something truly beyond the words. Now, as we proceed for the tea break, I need you to grab your coffee, discuss your ideas over there and be right back within 10 minutes. Thank you.
I was talking about collaboration, and when we get isolated, we should know what's happening across the world in terms of the research. And now, thanks to GenAI, thanks to the LLMs, right? We got the power of LLMs now. Whatever we talk about, the LLMs are there for us to support. LLMs are there for us to brief, right? Say, for example, I'm doing something in healthcare. Say, for example, I'm doing something in geospatial engineering. To make my work novel, I always need to take the support of LLMs in place. If I do not take the support of LLMs and do something, definitely my research is not going to be novel. My study is not going to be complete. Hope you are getting what I am saying. You are just using ChatGPTs for getting responses for what you want. But now what I am saying is, I use them, I do some research, I get some work done, I take help of the LLMs to build a better solution. How many of you heard about RAG? Heard about the word RAG? Yeah. Guys, please do remember, you are all the GenAI people now. Okay, so it's all GenAI now. Whether you like or do not like, you have to work only with GenAI, that is a generative AI, and the kind of applications that you are required to develop is nothing but called as a RAG application. RAG means retrieval, augmentation plus generation. Getting? It is a two-phase. What is that? Retrieval, augmentation. The second phase is nothing but generation. Your generative AI is that G. Whatever your ChatGPT is doing, whatever your existing LLMs are doing is that particular G, which is nothing but generation. But we are not happy with what ChatGPT does. We did our own research, right? And now what we would like to do is, we would like to take the benefit of the generative AI LLM for the work that we have done, which we call it as the RAG model. Getting what I am saying? Please make a note of that. My time is very short. In 30 minutes I have to brief, which you have to go through the internet and you will understand. Building a RAG model. I'll give you a very simple example. Okay? See how these RAGs are going to work. Now whatever the data sets, whatever the little work that you do, now you people have to embed your work with an LLM and get the results. And that particular results are going to be definitely the novel results which actually the community is looking for. So, how many of you heard this technology is LangChain? Guys, the world of what I mean to say, C, Java, C#, .NET, all those are gone. Now it's all the world of LangChain, LangForm, LangGraph, Hugging Face. You know, these are the technologies where you people are required to work, to sustain, to work for an industry now. Without this, you are definitely going to be an outdated. And the databases also which we talk about are already gone. Like DBMS, no more. NoSQL databases are also gone now. The databases are vector stores now. Vector store is an example. ChromaDB is an example. Which are the databases which we are going to use, where we take the power of LLM, where we take the power of the augmentation that which we do together, we retrieve a result. I will show one simple example for you. Okay, so try to just take a note of one tool I will talk about. Heard this, Grow Cloud? How many of you know? This is again similar to ChatGPT, but in fact, the ChatGPT always suffer with the capacity of your laptop. Putting ChatGPT into a cloud, and cloud means it has enormous computing power. That power you can get. So at a ladder you can test. The response you get in ChatGPT will be delayed when compared to the one you get in Grow Cloud. Say whatever the limitation of your machine, that you can overcome by taking support of Grow Cloud. Say simple here, you can type there in a message. India is in the last. Just right. India in geospatial analysis. India in geospatial analysis. Quick. World is talking about prompt engineering, right? Can anyone list the prompt engineering techniques? You're all AML people. Prompt engineering techniques. 0-shot prompt, 1-shot prompt, few shot prompts, meta-shot prompts, card prompts. No? So this shows that you haven't started generative AI, guys. It's already an ocean. Far behind the industry has gone, and you are going to do job only with Gen AI applications. And these are the technologies where you're going to work on. So please submit. So right, the way how it's doing, right? Yes or no? It's just giving like ChatGPT, yes or no? Right, go on the top. There Llama 3 you are able to see, right? Llama 3, click down. See here, these are various LLMs. ChatGPT use only ChatGPT LLM, right? Yes or no? So whatever the LLM you want, see the list of LLMs available. Whatever the LLM you want, which is relevant to your work, you can pick it from here. And you are using a Grow Cloud, not your laptop, not my machine. Getting what I'm saying? Here, my ChatGPT is working on cloud, not on my machine. Clear, guys? Right. Close this, guy. Please go to my Google Colab. Yeah, this is my Google Colab. I already did some work. See here, maybe not visible. What I did is, I integrated my Grow Cloud here into my app. And you people can see here, this is the LLM I am using. What I am doing? I am using an LLM. What is that? Llama 3.170B versatile. So whatever I want, I can do here. Say for example, this is a playground, right? I can go here. I can click the LLM that I want. This is the LLM that I have selected. Okay. I can look at a view code. Here I will be getting my code for the LLM. That I am taking it and I am getting the power of my Grow Cloud. I am getting the power of my LLM into my application which I am using Google Colab. I can use Jupyter Notebook in fact. I can use VS Code in fact. Whatever. I can use a PyCharm in fact. So whatever I want, I can put it on board here and I can start developing my applications. So here, what I do is, in this application, so simple, see, how many of you know OpenAI keys? Okay. Let me select Run All. I have my application which is already existing. It takes some time. It has to use internet. I'll show that how it gives the result. And for the power of LLM, what is my personal data that I have given so that LLM has changed its output. See, the future research is all about you have to use LLM. Whatever the collaboration I spoke about, that complete collaboration work my LLM does, because LLM is everything. LLM has learned a lot from huge and thousands of pages of data available on internet. It has read. So whatever we ask, it is responding. Whatever little work we did, whatever little work that is already existing, both gets embedded and we get the right output. So without using LLM, we can't do research at all. Please understand this particular factor. Okay, so see here, it's actually, oh sorry, yeah, Grok API key, no problem, it runs. See here, what I did is, there are loaders. This is called as a web-based loader. What I did is, I had a web page, and that particular web page has some data. I did web scraping from that web page, then whatever web scraping I did, I have stored into my Chroma DB, and there I am using my LLM. Together I am doing my analysis. I am going to then display the result. Getting what I am saying? So this is how a GenAI application, a simple GenAI application looks like. What is that we are doing? So this is a web-based loader. Getting what I am saying? Say simply, there is one more application I talk. Your laptop is getting hanged. I don't know why my key is not getting authenticated. So we have various kinds of the loaders. Runtime disconnected. Right? What happened? Internet getting disconnected? It has just in a minute. It has to get authenticated. It's not getting. Okay, so this little work is what actually you people are doing, and this you need to integrate it with the power of LLMs. Then with that particular power of LLMs is what actually we are going to get in. And when I am talking about loaders, can you open a new page please? In the Google. Internet's not ready. Okay, so what I'm just trying to do here is, I'm just trying to search for the LangChain loaders. So there are various kinds of loader functions already available with the LangChain. Like I can load a PDF document, I can load a text document, I can load a website. Okay, I can load a CSV format. Any kind of data that you have, we can load into this particular lang chain and use the power of LLM to get your own kind of applications. So now, what is that we can do with Cse-Aiml? What are the applications of Cse-Aiml at least? How many of you heard about codex? You can generate code with Cse-Aiml, yes or no? As a students, you know, right? When teacher gives an assignment of a program, what you are doing? Asking ChatGPT to give code, yes or no? Yes? You are asking ChatGPT to give the code. It's nothing but called as codex functionality. How many of you heard about DALL-E? DALL-E, what DALL-E does? What DALL-E does? DALL-E generates images. So the kind of functionality you are looking for, you have to take that particular LLM. What Whisper does? What Whisper does? See guys, these are the various document loaders we have with us with Cse-Aiml. See, this is a text loader. So your ChatGPT basically is using this text loader. The chat interface, what we are doing, we are giving a prompt. So we have a text loader here. Similarly, we have a web loader. Similarly, we have a PDF loader. So we have to use the kind of loader that we want to load your file into your Cse-Aiml. Okay? Yes, getting? So the various loaders here that we have, that we take up here, whether it has come. What's the problem? Why it is not running? It's code that runs smoothly. It's stuck here only. This is the key. If you want this runtime all. It's running up. Yeah, sure. Okay, so when even as most of your students, the moment when you are doing some projects, try to give the power of Cse-Aiml to your projects. If you are doing some research, try to give the power of Cse-Aiml to your research, so that your research or your project gets some novelty and it takes some attraction as well. And for that, what is that all you require is, as I said, you have to use a vector database, you have to use one of the LLM of your choice. For that, we have certain technologies that are already in place, very handy technologies. Try to use them so that you can get into your kind of research that we want. Okay, so as I said, use Grow Cloud. As I said, try to use lang chain models that you want. Learn how to build a RAG application. Immediately, what is that required is little Python knowledge that is sufficient enough. With that, learn how to build a RAG model and then choose an LLM of your choice. Then have your work that you have done either in a text or in a PDF or in a database or in a document format of your choice. Load it to that LLM. Rest of the work the Cse-Aiml is going to do, and it is going to give you people very interesting results. Okay. So actually I have to end my session over here. No worries, I'll share, once I reach back to my office, I'll share this course. Please look into the course. It gives you more and more, interesting insights, and try to search for the words that I have given. It will give you more and more insights for your, future works that you are going to do. Any quick one or two questions? I know that whatever I little spoke is all overhead transmission as of now. Any one or two questions quick on Cse-Aiml? At least a question might come where I can start learning Cse-Aiml. Yes? How many of you at least explored? First, what I say is day one, On Google, type prompting techniques. Yes or no? What is that? Prompting techniques. At least you should, whatever the little ChatGPT you are using is nothing. Whatever prompts. See, ChatGPT is not like other Google. You know, ChatGPT is not like Google. The way we give a prompt to a ChatGPT is completely different. We have prompting techniques. At least as I said some words, 0, 1, few, okay, 0 shot, 1 shot, few shot, okay, meta shot, caught shot. These are all the prompting techniques you should know. Then actually you will get the power of that particular LLMs. And when we talk about LLMs also, there are a lot of LLMs available. Okay, not just the ChatGPT LLM of 3.4 and 4.0, hundreds of LLMs are already in place. Now the point is, how do we create your own LLM? Not just using them. Yes or no? We need to come up with creating our own LLM as well. How do you create your own LLM is also an important parameter. Okay, so with this, I end my session over here. Once again, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. I hope my session has some insights I could share. Thank you.
What an amazing and enlightening session we have just witnessed. Your session has broadened our knowledge and impactful research, and your session has broadened our understanding of impactful research and inspired us to pursue excellence in our academic endeavors. It's a rare privilege to learn from someone of your stature, sir. Thank you so much. Now, to honor and express our gratitude, I'd like to invite our esteemed head of the department, Dr. Anusha Reddy ma'am, and the co-coordinator of this event, Dr. Habzi Punitawati ma'am, to the stage for the felicitation ceremony.
Guys, I'm more active on LinkedIn. Someone was asking my contact, so I always respond on LinkedIn. Okay, max in 24 hours back. I'll do that. Okay, try to connect me on LinkedIn, please. Thank you.
Sir, can you just have your LinkedIn ID? Can you just have your LinkedIn ID? LinkedIn.